The president, my wife, wants a divorce for the love of her life. Tell me, what conditions do you have? I can give you an extra compensation of 50 million on the side. On the outside, I pretended to cry, but on the inside, I was laughing out loud. I was exactly waiting for you to say that. I've wanted to leave you for a long time, you damn unfaithful woman. As soon as they give me the divorce money, I'll go live in a private club and maintain a few young boys. I'll sit back and watch the circus you'll put on with the harem of your cute Lin Jai. Yi Jinyu stayed a bit bewildered because she thought she heard a shout of celebration, but she didn't see any change in my expression. She thought that maybe she had misheard. After all, in 2.5 years of marriage, apart from using her contacts to open a factory, I spent all day stuck to her without a shred of the ambition a man should have. In contrast, the love of her life, Lin Ji, not only returned from studying abroad and founded a media company, but after taking the reins of the family business, he secured 4 or 5 government projects in one fell swoop. Thinking about this, Jinyu's expression turned cold. Today, Lin Ji returned to the country. Our families expect us to resume our marriage engagement, so let's end this on good terms. I feigned a sigh of disappointment. If that's how it is, President Yi, please take good care of yourself. But inside, I was fuming. Hello, Jinyu, you are a true wretch. When you recently took charge of the Yi Group, which was on the verge of bankruptcy, did you already forget who took out all his assets to help you stabilize the situation? This time, Jinyu was sure she had heard correctly. She couldn't hear my thoughts? I looked at her with a complicated expression. President Yi, I wish you much happiness in the future. Ha! Because of the wretch you are, Jinyu, you will never be happy in your life. Lin Ji doesn't like you. The reason he prefers Lin Yansu is because he surely already realized what a slut you are. I truly feel bad for the original owner of this body. The original owner was very intelligent. Since university, I invested in a dating app. Little by little, I've already earned hundreds of millions in dividends. After marrying Jinyu to help lift her family's company, I put all that money into the stock market. Now that I think about it, it's incredibly ridiculous. If it weren't because I want the divorce to go through tomorrow without problems, right now, I would kick Jinyu out and get out of here. Jinyu dug her gaze into my back. Just a moment ago, she heard that in my mind I was calling her a manipulative bitch, and I also said that Miss Lin likes Lin Yansu. Being Lin Ji's childhood friend, he knows his history perfectly, but he doesn't remember Lin Ji meeting Lin Yansu before going abroad. Song Yang must really love me too much. That's why he can't stand to see me happy. Later, I'll call the lawyer. Better yet, I'll give a little more money to Song Yang. By this time, I had already calmed down. Tomorrow I'll get divorced, and my relationship with Jinyu will end completely. Then I'll sell the Minxia factory and take the money to return to my town immediately. Everything is perfect. Perhaps it was because tonight was our last dinner. Jinyu ate 2 large bowls in one go. In the end, she looked at me as if she didn't want to let me go. I think I'm starting to understand Song Yang and why he loved Jinyu so much. It's just that with this great body and this face, who wouldn't drool? Jinyu heard my thoughts and felt flattered, but also a bit guilty. Oh, does he really love me that much? What if I tell the lawyer to give a little more money to him? Back in the room, I lay on the bed satisfied, imagining the wonderful life I will have after the divorce. Jinyu, on the other hand, tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. In her mind, my thoughts kept repeating over and over, and the more she thought about it, the more confused she felt. It was obvious that Song Yang loved her to the point of madness. Why were his thoughts so strange? Suddenly, an idea occurred to her. Could it be that some girl is trying to take him from me, and that Song Yang specifically wants to experience the love of another woman? No! The more I think about it, the more likely it seems. Jinyu dialed her best friend Lolo's cell phone. Lolo, I suspect Song Yang is cheating on me. She went crazy. She woke up with a start, pulled another cell phone from under the pillow, and turned it on. She stayed looking at her chat history with him on her secondary account. It was full of photos of sexy lingerie, black and white stockings. Does Jinyu already know that I'm undermining her, trying to calm the panic she felt? Sen Lolo said it in a low voice and with insecurity. Jinyu, how can you think Song Yang is going to cheat on you? If there is anyone in the world incapable of cheating, that is Song Yang. Yi Jinyu sighed. The truth is, I don't even know if he's cheating on me or not, but help me analyze the situation. Lin Ji returned, and the Lin family proposed that we get back together. They want me to divorce so I can marry Lin Ji for the sake of our families, and well, Today I mentioned it to Song Yang, and he told me he was just waiting for me to bring up the subject. Tell me, could it be that some slut out there is trying to take him from me, and that Song Yang has already been convinced? But since it doesn't suit him to ask for the divorce so as not to ruin his image as a good man, he purposely waited for me to say it first. After saying all that, Jinyu noticed there was no response from the other side of the line. She quickly said, "Well, Lolo, why aren't you saying anything? Did something happen?" A flash of wild ecstasy crossed Sen Lolo's eyes. "Friend, finally you are going to leave Song Yang in peace." Sen Lolo mentally completed Jinyu's theory because the one who was undermining her was her. She was the only one who was brazenly trying to steal him, and that's why Sen Lolo assumed that most likely he had already fallen for her boldness. She asked very carefully, "Hey Jinyu, and when are you planning to divorce?" Yi Jinyu sighed. "First tell me, do you think someone is trying to steal him from me?" After hesitating a bit between love and friendship, Sen Lolo firmly decided on Jinyu. A guy like Song Yang, with the backing of the Yi group for 2.5 years, and who has still only managed to open a chip factory, has no ambition. He's a good-for-nothing who only lives for the trivialities of day-to-day life. Cheating men must be cut off at the root. Tell me what day you divorce, and I'll go to cheer you on. Jinyu was taken by surprise by that sudden effusiveness, totally caught off guard, and said cautiously, "Isn't one supposed to advise reconciliation and not separation?" Sen Lolo's voice, full of pain and frustration, resonated immediately on the phone. "Friend, react please. Men who cheat are not worth it. Why are you doubting so much?" "It's just that I can't accept it. How did he dare to cheat on me?" Sen Lolo laughed to herself coldly. "And why did you think he wouldn't be able to cheat on you? If in 2.5 years you didn't let Song Yang touch a single hair of yours, you are a wretch who is still obsessed with her first love. Friend, listen to me. Don't torture yourself with this. You just tell me what day you divorce and I'll go to be your second and cause a scandal." Jinyu said in a low voice, "Tomorrow. But surely you won't be able to come." Sen Lolo's eyes opened wide. "Of course I can, friend. Don't worry. I'm going. Right now, I'm buying the plane ticket." She hung up and immediately sent a message to her mom. "Mom, after the continuous and tireless efforts of your daughter, Jinyu is finally going to divorce Song Yang. Have my birth certificate ready. I'm going there right now. I'm going to make Jinyu divorce tomorrow morning so I can marry Song Yang in the afternoon." Good. My daughter finally got her act together. Hurry up and bring Song Yang home." On the other hand, Jinyu's Secretary Jin, looked happily at the divorce agreement. Perfect. My 2 years of infiltrating, tirelessly telling Jinyu that Song Yang was a mediocre man without ambition, were not in vain. She decided to go to her house this very night to look for the papers. Tomorrow she would accompany Jinyu to the civil registry to finalize the divorce. And then she would drag Jinyu to marry her with the love she has for Jinyu. At that moment, she would surely be in shock with her mind elsewhere. She would take advantage of her vulnerability to conquer her. Jinyu, who was lying in bed, was about to fall asleep when a blast of freezing wind woke her up. She felt as if a poisonous snake were stalking her. In her dream, she saw that after the divorce, I became a great catch. First, my processor factory had an incredible technological breakthrough. It managed to mass-produce 3-nanometer chips in an era where foreign countries blocked chip technology. In one fell swoop, I cornered the entire national processor market. Immediately after, her best friend and secretary, along with other beautiful women she didn't know, surrounded me completely. Each and every one of them competed to offer themselves to me. Jinyu sat up suddenly in bed. She wiped the sweat from her forehead. Thank goodness it was a dream and not reality. However, Jinyu remembered Sen Lolo's words convincing her to divorce. She also thought about how Secretary Jin, since Linji returned a month ago, had not stopped putting it into her head that I was a useless man and that in contrast, Linji was an exceptional man. She always had the feeling that she was being manipulated. The next day, I shook my head seeing Jinyu's dark circles. I took out the concealer and applied it to her. Seeing herself in the mirror with me applying her makeup so delicately, Jinyu started to regret having asked for the divorce. Song Yang, setting aside the fact that he is not photogenic, in everything else he is quite good, and at least he is sincere with me, Song Yang. If you promise me that you will strive and work hard from now on, we could not divorce. Actually, I don't care about the marriage engagement with the Lin family. I froze for an instant. Inside I was shouting, no. If you don't divorce me, how am I supposed to find a young and pretty girl to spend the rest of my life with? Jinyu, the truth is that I'm not a big deal. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Hearing this, Jinyu's eyes filled with infinite fury. Damn it. So you were really cheating on me. Your lover already gave you away. You don't have to pretend anymore. Let's go right now. Below. Secretary Jin was already waiting for Jinyu. As soon as she got out of the elevator, she presented the divorce agreement. Jinyu snorted with disdain, signed, and got into the car. I took a look and also signed. A wave of anger invaded Jinyu again, and she couldn't help but say sarcastically, "Are you perhaps in a hurry to go look for your little sweetheart?" I frowned and ignored her. Hello, we were already about to get divorced. What a drag to keep playing Jinyu's game. To one side, Secretary Jin took the divorce agreement with visible joy in her eyes. Perfect. Hello, how wonderful. The car advanced steadily toward the civil registry. The atmosphere in the car was very uncomfortable. Nobody dared to say anything. Suddenly, it seemed that Jinyu realized something and asked Secretary Jin with strangeness, "Why are you driving today? Where is Xiao Xuan?" No, Secretary Jin took a look through the rearview mirror and said calmly, "Miss Xuan went to pick up her children today. I'm covering for her." Jinyu nodded her head and said nothing more. Arriving at the entrance of the civil registry, just as I got out of the car, two silhouettes caught my attention. I felt confused. What are Lin Ji and Sen Lolo doing here? Jinyu also looked at them with strangeness and asked, "What are you doing here?" And Sen Lolo threw me a look of apology, then approached Jinyu and said indignantly, "I came because I feared he would do something to you. I came especially to cheer you on." Lin Ji was to one side and said kindly, "I also came to support you." I rolled my eyes. Yes, sure, you definitely are one of her people. After all, you like Lin Yansu or not. You can even help Lin Yansu inherit the family fortune and incidentally put Jinyu in jail. Jinyu, who was just going to speak with Lin Ji, shuddered suddenly. A flash of incredulity passed through her eyes. "Jinyu, do you feel sick?" Jinyu took a breath and looked fixedly at Lin Ji. He trusts that I'm not going to lie to him. I hope. The truth is, she doesn't believe that Lin Ji and Lin Yansu could know each other. And besides, she trusts that her dad would never be unfaithful to her. Secretary Jin felt terrible inside. "Stop turning the matter over, Mrs. Yi. Do you want me to go get a turn for you?" Hearing her, Jinyu's eyes lit up as if an idea had occurred to her. "Get what turn?" "Look at the divorce agreement you drafted. There it only says that Song Yang will keep part of my assets, and where did all of yours go?" Secretary Jin opened her eyes like plates. "Hello? What is happening? Why do you suddenly blame me? Yesterday when you asked me to draft the agreement, you didn't tell me to do it like that." Jinyu pulled Sen Lolo and got into the car. "The divorce agreement isn't even well drafted. Hello, how are we going to divorce like this? Better we talk about this another day." This sudden change took everyone by surprise. Sen Lolo squeezed Jinyu's arm harder without realizing it. "Friend, you can't do this." A deep disappointment also crossed Secretary Jin's gaze. "I am extremely disappointed." "Jinyu, I don't have many properties. I'm not like you with your fortune of tens of billions. Are you really going to worry about my pennies? But how stingy you are." Jinyu's face darkened with anger. "Song Yang, you may not have much money, but that money is also from both of us. How am I going to allow you to use our money to maintain another woman?" Unconsciously, Sen Lolo and Secretary Jin felt a chill. Lin Ji said with a soft voice, "Jinyu, since Song Yang was unfaithful to you, the best thing is for you to divorce him, okay? That way you avoid more problems. As for his little money, I will compensate you with the relocation housing project." After speaking, Lin Ji turned toward me. "Hello, Mr. Song. How could you be unfaithful to her?" Oh, what a good person Jinyu is. I rolled my eyes at him. "If you dare to investigate under my nose again, do you want to see how I ruin the plan for you? When I set the trap for Jinyu in your relocation housing project, I'm gonna make it explode in your face." Jinyu felt a flip in her heart. A look of incredulity crossed her eyes. A trap in the housing project? Right! After divorcing Jinyu, I should reveal that Lin Yansu is the illegitimate son of the old director Ye, and that he is also the great love of Lin Jie. I should expose those two things. I remember that in the Lin family's private hospital is the record of the paternity test between Lin Yansu and old Ye. When I return, I'll look for some contact to leak it. A storm broke out in Jinyu's mind. Lin Yansu is the great love of Lin Ji, and in the private hospital of the Lin group, there is a record of a paternity test? Good, good, good. Jinyu looked slowly at Lin Ji. It's not necessary. It's just that I can't swallow this anger. She threw me another deep look. Hello, you drive Lolo's car. We will talk about the divorce another day. Now I have other matters to attend to. After saying that, Jinyu indicated to Secretary Jin that they leave immediately. They left just like that, leaving Lin Ji and me alone in the place. We stayed completely stunned. Already in the car, Sen Lolo couldn't help but say, Jinyu, he doesn't seem to be someone who would care about Song Yang's few assets. Secretary Jin, who was driving, also through the rearview mirror, looked at Jinyu with doubt. Jinyu said with a somber expression, I don't want anyone else spending our marital assets. Immediately after, her sixth sense activated. She looked at Sen Lolo with a clear warning. Sen Lolo, why are you so interested in my divorce? Sen Lolo smiled radiantly. Well, I just want you to find true love. No. But inside she sighed in secret. The opportunity she had waited for so long had vanished again. She already could imagine what would happen upon arriving at her house that night, as if she were being scolded by her mother. Secretary Jin, who was in front, also intervened opportunely. That's right, President Yi. Mr. Song actually doesn't have much money. You don't need to waste time with him. With all that effort, you would have already earned several times what Mr. Song is worth. After speaking, she sighed. The family registry book she was carrying in her bag was useless. The atmosphere calmed down little by little. Jinyu looked at Sen Lolo. Lolo, I remember that in that company of the Lins you also have shares in their private hospital, right? Secretary, let's go to the Lins private hospital right now. Lolo, I need you to help me using your authority as an owner to get a paternity test. Jinyu didn't want to beat around the bush. She would go straight to the point to obtain the proof. I need to confirm that my suspicion is 100% correct. That way all future plans will be easier. Meanwhile, without knowing about Jinyu's actions, Lin Ji and I were squatting smoking. It was Lin Ji who offered me the cigarette, and since I was depressed, I accepted it. Anyone who saw us would think we were good friends. Yang, these 2 years have been hard for you. With a melancholy look, I sighed. The truth is, yes, they have been very hard. My back hurts. Jinyu is very demanding. Although I didn't know what Lin Ji's intention was in inviting me to smoke, I decided to hit where it hurts most first. Lin Ji tensed visibly. He and Jinyu were boyfriend and girlfriend for 4 years in university, and barely even held hands. She didn't even let him kiss her, and now Song Yang comes out with the fact that his back hurts? What rage! And above all, thinking of Jinyu, that voluptuous body and those sensual lips, he became even more infuriated. Suppressing his frustration, Lin Ji said in a low voice, as long as you are willing to leave her, you can ask for the price you want. My eyes lit up. Did he perhaps come to give me money? Total, we are going to divorce anyway, so it doesn't hurt to earn some money before I leave. I'll take it as if I were collecting interest in the name of the previous owner of this body. Director Lin, since you say it like that, then I won't beat around the bush. 100 million, and I'm out. Director Yi, such few aspirations do you have? Lin Ji couldn't help but mock. I thought you were going to ask for the project. I opposed. The project? I fear it's a trap to put me in jail. Hearing that, Lin Ji shuddered, thinking he had revealed some weakness. Just at that moment, he received a call. Director Lin, bad news. Director Yi and the young Director Sen came to the hospital. They want to request the paternity test of Ye Niansu and the old Director Yi. Upon hearing it, Lin Ji's mind went blank. She was stunned for a second, then shouted furious and desperate, "Don't deliver it for anything in the world." What is it that I shouldn't know, little brother? Lin Jai, I didn't think you were going to betray me again. Jinyu's cold and sinister voice was heard through the phone. This is not going to stay like this. They hung up. Lin Ji stayed standing, paralyzed. I was still all weirded out. What the hell was happening? This part wasn't in the original novel. Lin Ji threw me a furious look. Good. You and Jinyu really put on a good little show. I still didn't understand anything. Hello, are you crazy or what? Why are you shouting at me? Lin Ji laughed coldly. Are you still pretending? All this is nothing more than an act between you and Jinyu. You tricked me into coming here, and while you entertained me, she went to look for the paternity test records. Is it not so? You guys win this round. Lin Ji smashed his cell phone and left fuming. I shook my head, but inside I went on alert. The plot changed. It's different from the book. Better I think of a way to get out of here and fast. Lin Private Hospital, Paternity Test Center. Jin-Yu observed the newly printed report with a somber expression. The manager and his team were to one side, trembling with fear. In Sen Lolo's eyes, only the father existed, famous in his circle for being a devoted husband, and it turned out he was unfaithful to her. To top it off, his bastard daughter and his wife's son are almost the same age. Jin-Yu breathed deep and gave an order to Secretary Jin. Have them prepare the Singling Yuan villa, and have Uncle Lee go personally with his people to inspect it. Then all the cars that are in my name, check them all completely, and I want them checked like that every day, back in the car. Sen Lolo said to Jin-Yu with caution, No, don't you think you are exaggerating a bit? A ruthless shine appeared in Jin-Yu's eyes. That if I exaggerate? The Yi Group is worth hundreds of billions. Whoever seizes it will become the most famous tycoon in the whole country. Just by taking care of a few projects, an ordinary person would earn more money than they could imagine in dozens of lives. And for that much money, people are capable of doing anything. Hearing that, Sen Lolo preferred to keep silent. The truth is, she was totally right. Mr. Yi, where are we heading now? Jin-Yu's eyes flashed, and she said calmly, to the company to wait for our guests to arrive. On the other hand, Lin Ji called Yi's father. Uncle! Everything was discovered. Jin-Yu already knows about your relationship with Yansu. Yi's father's heart shrank. He roared furious. Who the hell opened their mouth? Today, Jin-Yu and Song Yang set a trap for me. Lin Ji proceeded to tell him slowly everything that had happened. Yi's father sighed. In that case, there is no longer anything we can do for now. We will continue with the original plan. It only remains to see if he is willing to take the relocation housing project. If he still wants to do the business, that will be our opportunity. But if he doesn't want to, then we'll have to find another. Lin Ji nodded and hung up the call. Immediately after, she dialed Niansu to tell her that Jin-Yu already knew about the relationship between her and his father. Speaking of playing the saint, Yi Niansu said with a honeyed voice, and what if they know? At most, I will only make my daddy look bad. The GZ Group started in the real estate business, and I dedicate myself to beauty. It has nothing to do with it. It has no way to affect me. Mrs. Lin nodded. It's true, only your path to inherit the Yi family's heritage is going to get complicated. Yi Niansu smiled flirtatiously. Oh Jay, to begin with, I have you, and besides, there's the new national law about illegitimate children that grants them the right to inherit. So if any problem arises in the future, I'm still going to stay with half of the Yi fortune. Jin-Yu is nothing more than a simple employee. Hearing this, Lin Ji got into a very good mood. After hanging up the phone, she drove toward the headquarters of the GAZ Group, in the old mansion of the Yes. Vice President Yi hung up the phone. He had a somber expression. Hello, Jin-Yu, you forced me. On the other hand, I got into Sen Lolo's car and immediately saw the family registry book on the passenger seat. Was this girl really coming to get married? I couldn't help but laugh. Wow, the sin of that Jin-Yu is big, making the poor woman miss out on a good marriage. Suddenly, a memory of the original owner of this body flooded my mind. It was from a year and a half ago when Sen Lolo seduced the previous owner, and in the end they ended up adding each other on WeChat. I turned pale. Hello, another scene that wasn't in the book. Quickly, I logged into the secondary account of my previous self and was stunned by the huge amount of unread chats I had. The first was from Sen Lolo. I entered and it was full of photos of her with black stockings, too provocative. After hesitating for a moment, I replied to Sen Lolo with a received. I kept going down the list of chats and found the WeChat of Secretary Jin. Secretary Jin hadn't sent me provocative photos like those, but her profile was full of quite sensual photos. I checked the list, and she had about dozens of friends. Almost all of them sent messages to the previous owner from time to time. I couldn't help but sigh. It could be said that I inherited a gigantic fortune. I took a photo, saw it, and then posted a selfie in the moments of the original owner. You were willing to save yourself for Jin-Yu, but I'm not. As soon as I divorce, I plan to lose control in a big way. First, I drove to a cell phone store, bought a second phone with a new number, transferred the SIM card and the WeChat account. Then I headed to the factory that the original owner had founded. The factory was huge, valued at more than $1 billion. It was mainly dedicated to chip processing and research of its technology. It only accepted small orders. Seeing the gigantic factory, a strange thought arose in my mind. Why did Jinyu always say that the original owner lacked ambition? Did she not see the factory he had? I shook my head and discarded that strange idea. I began to think about the future of the factory. This world had a technological development similar to that of my previous world. The development of chips in this country was very backward. Pity that in my past life I didn't study anything related to chips. Suddenly I remembered the Dragon King Luo Aodian from the original plot. He had tried to seize the chip company of the former owner. For that, he even spent a fortune trying to hire a chip expert. But unfortunately he didn't get him. That expert didn't like Luo Odian's way of doing things. I remember that expert was from the Lin family of Hinshin City, and the reason he came to Fungi City was to look for his kidnapped daughter. So if I find his daughter before anyone else, I can win his friendship, and incidentally I will establish a connection with the Lin family. Just when I was thinking about that, my cell phone rang. And what does this old Yi want to call me for? Old Yi is Jinyu's grandfather. He deeply despised the original owner. Besides, for being a sexist, he also looked down on Jinyu. Even so, I answered the call. Tell that damn brat Jinyu, tonight I have to return to the family mansion for dinner. I have something to announce. I set to thinking and searched through the memories of the novel, but I didn't find any scene about returning to the mansion for dinner. Bah, whatever, it doesn't matter. However, I could take advantage of this scene to get rid of Jinyu. I arrived at the Yi Group. The Yi Group is a conglomerate with 100 years of history. Originally, it belonged to the family of Jinyu's grandmother. Later, Old Yi changed its name, and it has been called like that until today. But they say that since he changed the name and took control, the Yi Group has done nothing but go downhill. By the time Yi Fu took power for the first time 20 years ago, the Yi Group was already wobbling. Luckily, Yi Fu married a good woman. It was Mrs. Yesin who, with the company she herself founded, rescued the Yi Group. During the 20 years that Yi Fu and Yesin were married, they were always a very loving couple, and it was during the 20 years that Yesin was in command that the Yi Group reached its peak. But after the death of Mrs. Yesin, the Yi Group remained under the control of Yi Fu and began to go downhill again until Jinyu rescued it 2.5 years ago. Tisk, the men of the Yi family are useless, and the women are pure love-struck fools. In the original plot, Jinyu's grandmother married Old Yi, contributing the family business, and in the end, died of a brain hemorrhage. Jinyu's mother Yezin went out of her way working hard for Yefu. In the end, Yefu, unable to stand the rumors that he was a kept man, ordered that she be run over. She died. And Jinyu, in the original novel, loved her unforgettable first love, Lin Ji. In the end, Lin Ji and Yefu set a trap for her, and she ended up in jail. So 3 generations of women of the Yi family, all love-struck fools, basically ruined the family business with their own hands. Jinyu, who was just coming down the stairs, heard my mental complaints and couldn't help but make a bad face. Senlolo, seeing the situation, sighed and said, Jinyu, if you don't like Song Yang, already divorce him. But why do you get bitter every time you see him? It was then that Jinyu realized she had lost her composure again. Quickly she tried to cover it up, saying, well, I'm not going to let another little hussy spend my money either. Senlolo rolled her eyes. Hey, calm down. If Song Yang divorces you, he will only spend my money, and I would be more than happy. Seeing Senlolo next to Jinyu, I approached smiling and told her, hey, what a good car you have. It handles wonderfully. Senlolo feigned indifference. Aha, if you like it, you can tell Jinyu to buy it for you. But inside, she didn't fit with excitement. Song Yang spoke to me on his own initiative. I couldn't help but laugh inside. Wow, she knows how to act. If she spends all day sending me provocative photos in black stockings. Hearing this, a flash of surprise crossed Jinyu's eyes. You know what? The one trying to steal my husband is my best friend. She felt that everything went cloudy and was about to fall. By instinct, I caught her so she wouldn't fall. I took a candy out of my pocket and put it in her mouth. It was such an automatic gesture that for a moment I forgot it was a habit of the original owner of this body. Senlolo took Jinyu by the other arm. Looking at him with envy, she said, what a lucky girl to have a man who takes care of you at all times. Jinyu pushed me with force. With a murderous look in her eyes, she shouted, unfaithful. Then she looked at Senlolo with disappointment. Finally, she let out a deep sigh. I stayed stunned. And what fly bit this one? Jinyu is really crazy. Clearly she doesn't like me, but she refuses to divorce. And what if I renounce all the assets? Jinyu's face darkened even more. She swallowed the words with which she wanted to confront Senlolo. You know what? No! Hello! Hello! I'm no longer going to ask anything, and don't even believe that I'm going to divorce so that your stupid love story can never come to light. Die of rage. With that in mind, Jinyu feigned relaxing. She gave me a kiss on the lips and said, "Honey, I'm sorry." I reacted badly. Better we return to the old house now. Noticing the disappointment that crossed Senlolo's eyes, Jinyu gloated inside. Hee hee, hello best friend, you'll see. In that moment, her cruelest side broke out completely. She thought of many ways to make Senlolo angry. He doesn't stop provoking me. Has Jinyu perhaps gone crazy? And why did he have to kiss me? Senlolo burned with rage inside. Damn, she said, see you later, and left. Seeing the lonely figure of Senlolo from behind, I couldn't help but shout to myself, Jinyu, you are a wretch. If it weren't for you, Senlolo wouldn't have left. Jinyu got happy. She took me by the hand and began to walk toward the outside. She has never been an indulgent person. Since Linji left 2.5 years ago, she doesn't accept any betrayal, even if that person is her lackey or her best friend. Senlolo returned home disappointed. Her mother asked her immediately what was wrong. And my son-in-law, so handsome and charming? Mom, why didn't he come with you? Senlolo began to explain to her little by little. Mom, I think Jinyu already discovered what I feel for Song Yang. Today she kissed Song Yang in front of everyone. It was the first time they had such an intimate contact. Sen's mother smiled. Daughter, I think you could be right. Being so, the best thing is for you to leave your posture clear to Jinyu. Senlolo looked at her mother impacted. What are you saying? Daughter, you can't have everything in this life. You have to choose between friendship and love, unless Jinyu is willing to share Song Yang with you. Senlolo sighed. A foxy smile was drawn on the lips of her mother. Although it's not that it's impossible. I've been analyzing the situation between Song Yang and Jinyu, especially the image that Jinyu projects of Song Yang toward others and also the image that we have of Song Yang. I discovered that someone has been brainwashing Jinyu non-stop. Song Yang is not enough. Sen's mother has always held me in high esteem. The first time I appeared before the public, it was as Jinyu's bootlicker. Back then, everyone saw me as a joke. But since I married Jinyu and saved the Yi group from collapse, I traveled all over the country visiting GSE's branches for her, especially the commercial plazas that belong to her. Finally, I proposed a strategy for the new company to absorb the old one. Using the commercial plazas as an axis, we created a cinema chain and entered the entertainment industry. For publicity, I had Jinyu invest all of GSE's money in mountainous areas to help women, but with that, we gained enormous prestige. It was this very strategy that saved GSE from imminent bankruptcy. However, shortly after, a rumor began to spread within GSE that I wanted the Chiju. Then I resigned, surprising everyone. After that, I founded a chip processor factory. And it was at that moment that Jinyu began to say publicly that I had no ambition. But Sen's mother, who had always been observing me, knew the truth. My chip factory was valued at more than $1 billion, and the companies in which I invested privately were also worth several billion. This is an incredibly capable and charismatic man, and despite being so outstanding, in Jinyu's eyes, he was nothing more than a good-for-nothing without ambitions. Sen's mother told Senlolo in a low voice, "Are you going to tell Jinyu everything and make it clear to her that Song Yang's company is worth more than $1 billion? Your goal is not to stay with Song Yang, but to join them." Senlolo was stunned. Mom, are you asking me to be the other woman on purpose? Sen's mother laughed coldly. Not only if you get close to Song Yang do you have your chance. On the way to the old mansion, I was driving Jinyu's big car in a bad mood, and that's even though she has a driver. Why do I have to drive? By my side, Jinyu's mood was just as rotten. Her husband was asking for a divorce. Her best friend of 22 years was trying to steal her husband. Her own father had a mistress. Lolo was conspiring against her, and if that weren't enough, a bastard daughter she didn't even know was lying in wait. But most important of all was that in the future, she would have a great enemy called the Dragon King. Jinyu felt that they were all against her. With annoyance, she grabbed her cell phone. Senator Lolo's message jumped out at her. Jinyu, I like Song Yang. I really hope you let me join you. Jinyu let out a laugh of pure anger. Hello, what nerve? So you want to join us, eh? Senlolo sent another message. Don't get angry. I'm only going to tell you one thing. Song Yang's chip factory is valued at billions, did you know? Instantly, Jinyu repressed her anger, turned toward me and said to me word for word, "How much is your company worth?" I looked at Jinyu strangely. It can't be, Jinyu really doesn't know how much Song Yang's company is worth? No, wait, is she perhaps testing me? Thinking that, I replied calmly, about $1 billion and something, more or less. Personally, I have also invested in the companies of some colleagues, an oil and gas plant, a steel cable factory, and also a media company. They are just loose shares here and there, but together they are also worth another $1 billion and something, and besides, I have some shares in the Feng family company. If you want the divorce and to divide the assets, all of that can go into the distribution. I only want the divorce. Jinyu felt her stomach churn. She took out her cell phone, sent a message to Secretary Jin and another to Feng Yuyu, the young president of the Feng family. To both, she wrote a message. "Do you like Song Yang?" Secretary Jin, who had just arrived home, hesitated a moment before responding. "Yes, President Yi. I like Mr. Song. If it doesn't seem right to you, I can resign, but I'm going to fight for Mr. Song's love as it should be. President Yi, I hope you give us your blessing. After all, you don't even like Mr. Song." Feng Yuyu responded, "Jinyu, are you joking? How could I like a man as stingy as Mr. Song? I only like men like Lin Ji, who with a single gesture give you projects worth hundreds of millions." She hung up the cell phone. Feng Yuyu was somewhat worried. Has that wretch Jinyu found out about something? Who knows when she is going to divorce Song Yang? Jinyu smiled coldly without saying anything. Judging by the way Secretary Jin kept telling her that Song Yang had no ambition and that he wasn't good enough, and by how Feng Yuyu told her that Song Yang was mean and little of a man, it was most likely that everything was a lie. It was also that she would have a bad impression of Song Yang. It turns out that I've been living in a gigantic Truman Show. Staring at the man who was driving, Jinyu couldn't help but feel envy of Song Yang. And what if he has a good body? Or if he is handsome and has a kind character? Or if he knows how to cook, pamper people, and is responsible? Why do so many people like him? Jinyu sighed and responded to Feng Yuyu. Sorry, I was just playing. I'll invite you to lunch another day." Then she responded to Secretary Jin, "It's not necessary. As long as you don't betray me, everything is fine." Finally, she answered Senlolo. "Agreed. But you and I have to make an alliance to defend ourselves together from the other harpies." Senlolo responded. "Okay." Jinyu put down the cell phone. A golden glow flashed in her eyes. Thinking about it from another angle, as long as I am sufficiently exceptional, I can perfectly turn my confidants into my allies and thus become stronger. As a businessman, I must know how to differentiate what is convenient for me and what is not. After consoling herself, Jinyu's gaze fell on me. He remembers that I am still a virgin. No wait. He has so many intimate friends. I have to test this Jinyu. Clearing my throat, I asked, "We've been married for 2.5 years, and I've never asked you how many girlfriends you've had." I took a look at Jinyu with suspicion. She said with annoyance, "You are my first love." No, is this Jinyu crazy or what? Why that question? Just thinking about it makes me angry. The original owner of this body had dozens of intimate friends, and just for a Jinyu, who wouldn't even let him touch her, he remained a virgin. He really is sick. I have to find an opportunity to stop being one. If not, the day I die, what a waste. Hearing this, Jinyu's eyes shone. Her mood improved instantly. Well, as I expected, Song Yang still loves me. Good. If it's like that, then I won't hold back. Suddenly, I felt a chill, as if a wild beast had set its sights on me. We got out of the car and drove to the old residence of the Yi family. It was an estate with gardens located on the outskirts, occupying an area of 500 million mu. It had been inherited from Jinyu's grandmother's family. The grandfather and father of the Yi family lived here. As soon as the car stopped, a butler approached to open the door. "Welcome home, miss." "Hello, welcome, young master." Seeing the young and polite butler and the young servants who came and went, I couldn't help but complain inside. What FC King luxury. So many people. 1 month's salary must be more than $1 million, right? That's why I don't like living here. If possible, I should donate this place to a museum. That way I could get some projects in exchange. Jinyu was furious. We hadn't even entered when laughter could already be heard from inside. I know everyone who is inside. Old Yi, dressed in a tang suit, giving off intellectual airs. Yi Fu with his scholarly air, whom they call the intellectual, plus old Yi's sister-in-law with her grandson. And a beauty I don't know with a child in her arms. Wow, isn't that Ye Jun, Jinyu's cousin? This guy looks quite scrawny, but he is the wretch who later surrendered and sacrificed his own wife to the Dragon King. And that young wife by his side? Don't tell me it's her? Although it makes sense. After all, this young lady is old Yi's mistress. I was in shock. This family is that twisted? And lately, what the hell is going on? All the guys who were saints before are coming out of nowhere. The people in the main hall were about to get up upon seeing Jinyu and me. But old Yi let out a snort. You've arrived and you don't think to enter, or are you waiting for me to invite you? What a lack of education. I rolled my eyes. Truly, your personality goes with your clothes? What a feudal relic. In what century do we live for you to still give yourself airs of a patriarch? Jinyu let out a giggle and said, Well said. Old Yi became infuriated instantly. As the youngest of the family and besides her fiancé, don't you know you must show respect to your elders by serving them tea? I was speechless. Does this old man really think he still lives in the Yin dynasty? To serve you tea? Are there perhaps no servants in the house? But then I remembered that I will need him later to help me divorce Jinyu, so I have no choice but to go along with it. Jinyu threw me a fulminating look. How does he manage to curse him in his mind and look so submissive on the outside? She ignored old Yi and pulled me toward the living room, right in front of everyone's astonished gaze. She looked for a place and sat down. Then, with all the calm in the world, she said, First of all, I've been married for 3 years. Where did that supposed fiancé come from? Second, for a woman to serve tea to her elders, first there have to be elders here and in our family, he. Old Yi's beard trembled with anger. I sighed. Well, it's over. I definitely couldn't count on old Yi. Lin Jie stood up and said with a soft voice. Jinyu, are grandfather Yi and Uncle Yi not your elders? And am I not your fiancé? Jinyu acted as if she barely noticed Lin Jie's presence, said surprised, Isn't this my fiancé, the one who left abroad just when the Yi family was in crisis? Why did you return? Could it be that you saw the Yi family is rising and you came to be supported? Inside I cheered for Jinyu. What a badass woman. The Lin's and Lin Jie's faces decomposed. Then Jinyu looked at old Yi and her father. Wow, so it's my grandfather who has a mistress, and my father who cheated on his wife while she was pregnant. After saying that, she looked at Mrs. Lin. Surely you don't know that in the Yi family we have an ancestral rule. Those with deficient morals are not worthy of being called elders. Therefore, there are none of my elders here. Why should I show my respects? Seeing Jinyu attacking with everything, I couldn't help but admire the detective Masuai. Jinyu's gaze, full of murderous intent, swept over all those present. That imposing aura of someone who had rescued a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate on the verge of bankruptcy made everyone in the room realize that she was not a simple young lady from a rich family who could be easily crushed, but the absolute leader of a multi-billion-dollar empire. Damned insolent. I see that your studies were of no use to you. Yi's father had red eyes with fury, as if he were going to kill someone. While I observed everything carefully, wow, how quickly he lost his temper. His mental strength is terrible. Look at Jinyu. She found out her father was having an affair and guessed her childhood sweetheart betrayed her, and still she didn't collapse. By her side, the second grandmother Yi spoke. Jinyu, what nonsense are you saying? How could your grandfather have a mistress, and how could your father have an illegitimate daughter? What the Lin family did was not right, but they have already come to apologize. Saying this, she threw me a look of contempt. Song Yang has been in the Yi family for 2.5 years and has achieved absolutely nothing. He is not a good match. Instead, look at Lin Jie. He just returned to the country and already got a lot of projects. Besides, he just said he will give us the courier business in the south of the city. We only have to wait for the demolition, and our family will be able to earn money without moving a finger. Lin Jie spoke again with a soft and respectful voice. Today what happened was also for your own good, and as a token of my repentance, I will sell you at a good price that land in the south of the city that they are going to demolish. Lin's mother also frowned and said to Jinyu, We know our family behaved badly before, but now we are admitting our mistake. Saying that, she threw me the same look of contempt. Besides, really, Aunt, you don't want to keep wasting your time with that useless person by your side? Old Yi snorted coldly. Jinyu, I will forgive the nonsense you just said. Think very carefully about what you are going to do. Saying this, he threw me another look of contempt. By this point, my patience had reached its limit. Damn it! I came here to use you all and divorce Jinyu, not for you to come and humiliate me. I see that Jinyu isn't even interested in listening to you, so why the FCK should I listen to you? Thinking of that, I took a step forward and swept the place with my gaze. First, I looked at the second grandmother and said with sarcasm, "Wow, how incredible you are." If I remember correctly, the father of your son Yi Jun was born in July and was a big and chubby baby of 4 kilos, right? He was born 3 months early, and even so he weighed 4 kilos? If he hadn't been born premature, surely he'd weigh more than 7 kilos. Jinyu couldn't help but let out a giggle. Wow, so the uncle of the second branch of the family is an illegitimate son, eh? I wonder if my second grandfather didn't die of pure anger. Finishing speaking, Jinyu feigned panic and covered her mouth. Oh, I think that's not something that can be said. She took me by the hand and said, "Honey, they aren't gonna hit me, right?" What a badass performance. That exaggeration is at the level of Sister Bao. I also feigned being nervous. Don't fear, my love. Your husband will protect you. Besides, seeing how grandfather treats the uncle of the second family, maybe he's even his own son. Old Yi, red with anger, shouted, "Don't talk SHT," and saying it, he lunged to attack me. I smiled coldly. It hit close to home, eh? Jinyu also smiled coldly. What a disgusting Yi family. Those words made. Old Yi sit back down, dead with anger. Then he looked at Lin's mother, tilted his head, and said, "Aunt, I may be a useless person, but at least I'm not unfaithful, not like our Uncle Lin and Lin Ji. Director Lin uses his media company as if it were a brothel." Lin's father stood up immediately and shouted, "Don't talk bullshit. It's very easy to invent a rumor, but to debunk it exhausts you. This is absolutely intolerable." I took a small step back as if I were scared. No, really, then I would like to ask something. If it's true that you at Pull and Miria don't have any kind of shady dealings, then how is it that those young girls without talent for acting and without any fame get the leading roles? At that moment, Jinyu stood up, took me by the arm. "Honey, do you perhaps not know that the old director Lin can make famous whoever he wants, and whoever he chooses becomes famous? In the Lin Group's media company, favors have a well-established price." Lin's father and mother were so furious, they wanted to hit them. Lin Jie finally understood. When Jinyu and I returned, it wasn't to fix things. "Jinyu, stop making a drama. I really want us to reconcile." Inside my mind exploded. Reconcile your FC King mother. If you're so great, why did you leave? You should have stayed to fight alongside Jinyu. Jinyu let out a cold laugh and snapped directly at him. Reconcile your FC King mother. Don't talk as if we had ever been anything. Such foul language left the room in a deathly silence. Even I was stunned. Is this really the future cold and calculating villain Jinyu? Old Yi's face turned red with fury. Pointing at Jinyu with a trembling finger, he shouted, "What a disgrace! What a complete disgrace!" Jinyu let out another cold laugh and ignored him. In his place, she looked at Lin Ji with coldness and mocked her dear childhood friend. "Lin Ji, you, such a promising young man, letting so many beautiful and wealthy young heiresses pass by, and you insist on marrying a second-class woman like me? Are you fucking stupid, or what?" Anger flashed in Lin Ji's eyes. By his side, Lin's mother forced herself to say, "Jinyu, I know you are angry, but this only shows how much Lin Ji loves you." A mocking smile was drawn on the lips of Yi Jinyu. "Love me? Knowing perfectly well that my father has an illegitimate daughter only a few months younger than me, and you don't tell me?" Lin Ji repressed his fury and said with a contained voice, "I only didn't want you to get angry. I only wanted to help you get rid of her in secret." Jinyu tilted her head and extended her hand. "Give me your cell phone." All those present stayed perplexed. "Jinyu, what are you trying to do?" Yi Jinyu responded calmly, "It's nothing. I'm just going to use your cell phone to call Yi Niansu, that's all. I'll ask her how she got rid of her." Jinyu's defiant attitude completely humiliated Lin Ji's family. Lin Ji clenched his fists. He didn't expect that Yi Jinyu would be so direct. Rules didn't matter to her at all. Lin Fu hit the table and shouted furious, "You, the Yi family, have already crossed the line. If it weren't because Lin Ji loves you, do you really think we would come to ask for your hand? To you, a woman who is always throwing herself at people, who knows with how many men she has gotten drunk for a contract, and who on top of that is divorced." Hearing this, a murderous look crossed Jinyu's eyes, and my face also hardened. Stupid old man, don't get ahead of yourself. Lin Fu continued with mockery. One is a starveling come from the provinces, and the other is a shameless woman who gets contracts by getting drunk with guys. Truly, they are for each other. HMPH. I couldn't stand it anymore. I stopped Jinyu, who was about to speak, took the fruit bowl that was to one side, and smashed it on Lin Fu's head. For this sudden scene, everyone was stunned. Jinyu looked at me surprised. Wow, my husband is incredible. Immediately after, I knocked Lin Fu down with a kick and stepped on his chest with my foot. I said coldly, "Since Jinyu and I entered through that door, the only thing you have done is try to humiliate us, and now you dare to insult Jinyu and my family? Tell me, who are the truly shameless ones here?" Lying on the floor, Lin Fu shouted furious, "I'm going to kill you." Lin Ji reacted and tried to advance, but Jinyu picked up a piece of the fruit bowl from the floor. Pointing it, she said, "Let's see if one of you dares to move." Old Yi and Yi Fu immediately called the bodyguards. Jinyu said with a glacial voice, "I am the one who pays your salary. If any of you dares to move a finger today, I assure you that you will not work as a bodyguard again in your life." Hearing her, all the bodyguards withdrew in silence. I looked at Jinyu a bit surprised. This woman is really defending me? Although Jinyu is not the typical fool head over heels in love, the original story never said she was in love with me. Bah, what does it matter? While stepping on Lin Fu's chest, I smiled with disdain. Go on, keep insulting if you dare. Say one more word and I'm going to break your chest with a stomp, and then I'll end up at the police station and you in the hospital. The headline will be, "The Lin family tries to kidnap a decent woman, and her husband gives him a brutal beating. Using their power, they put the husband in jail." Lin's father swallowed his words by force. My father-in-law, seeing this sudden change, grit his teeth and asked, "What the hell are you two trying to do?" Jinyu, seeing that they no longer dared to evade the subject, pulled me to sit down again and said with all the calm in the world, "Rather, the one who asks is me. What did you call my husband and me for?" Lin Ji helped Lin Fu get up. Repressing the fury in his heart, he tried to use a kind tone and said, "Jinyu, believe me or not, I truly love you and I came to marry you." Jinyu mocked without mercy, an ex-fiancé who left the country just when I was in crisis, a father-in-law who called me a hussy. "Do you really think I love you so much as to marry you?" I intervened from my place, and to that add that she would also be abandoning a husband who would give his life for her. Jinyu threw me a look of approval. Exactly. Lin Ji is undoubtedly the same one who, in the original novel, conspired against Jinyu and succeeded. Despite facing such cold and constant sarcasm, the guy was still able to speak with kindness. So to prove my sincerity, Jinyu, I am willing to divide with you the relocation housing project and to sell you that land in the north of the city at cost price. If you think that is not enough, I am also willing to give you access to the Lin group. Jinyu interrupted Lin Ji with impatience and said in a tone of mockery, "I may be in love, but I'm not an idiot. That land in the north of the city can only be used to build houses, and right now in the whole country, there are 5 times more houses than people. Are you sure that is a benefit for me?" Lin Ji affirmed with certainty, "It is. You know that my family has contacts in the high spheres. The city of Fungai plans to develop the northern zone. The houses in that development area are going to be very valuable." I couldn't help but laugh to myself. This Lin Ji really is an unscrupulous charlatan. It's true that the northern zone is going to be developed, only that under that land there is an ancient tomb. Upon hearing my rebirth, Jinyu's gaze darkened. Wow, a perfectly planned trap within another. Lin Ji really wants to end me. However, she didn't explode immediately. In her place, she looked significantly at the elder Yi and his wife. Then she looked at Lin Ji and said with indifference, "If I marry you, would the whole Yi group then become my dowry? I possess 57% of the shares of the Yi group." Just when Lin Ji was going to speak, the old man Yi at his side cut him off. "If you marry the young Jai, those shares of course must stay in the family. In that moment we will give them to the young Jun and that's it. We called you today also to talk about this matter. I plan to leave the Yi family to Jun. After all, you will get married and you will leave." Hearing this, Lin Ji closed his eyes, speechless. It's over, he thought. This old man already lives up to his fame of being a complete idiot. Surely all his intelligence was used to be a kept man. Jinyu smiled coldly. "Give it to Yi Jun. And why?" said the old man Yi with a tense neck. Well, because Yi Jun is the male heir of the Yi family. I rolled my eyes, speechless. It's because Yi Jun cannot have children. The young woman who is by your side is carrying your son, right? Jinyu stayed stunned for a moment, then also let out a cold laugh. And why didn't you give it to Yi Jun before? Don't think I don't know. I know perfectly what you are thinking, you old wretch. When the group was about to break, you endorsed all the shares to me. You all transferred all the assets of value elsewhere to leave me alone with all the debt. And now that the business is prospering again, you want to get rid of me? A killer flash shone in Jinyu's eyes. Not in your dreams. While I, Jinyu, am still alive, I will never spit out what I have already swallowed. Honey, let's go. Jinyu took me by the hand and we turned around to leave. I threw a mocking look at old Yi and at Ye Fu. Tusk! Tusk! Hello, wow! Jinyu pulled out the claws ahead of time. You guys are finished. I remember that in the original story, shortly after Jinyu came out of jail and became corrupt, these two from the Yi family had a car accident. Just when we were about to leave, Jinyu turned again toward Lin Ji and said bluntly, Director Lin, that land in Chenbei has an ancient tomb underground, and you still have the nerve to put it up for sale? Hearing that, Lin Ji's pupils contracted. I was fried. As of today, his relationship with Jinyu had broken completely. I also stayed with a surprised face. How is it that Jinyu knew it? A smile was drawn on Jinyu's lips, because I have you, my secret weapon. While they saw how we were leaving, an uncomfortable silence took over the main hall. Lin Jai looked at old Yi and sighed. Grandpa, and now what do we do? The original plan definitely is no longer going to work. The old man Yi snorted with coldness. Don't worry, back then Yesen was also that arrogant, and did she not end up returning the shares in the end? Yi Fu also intervened with confidence. Don't worry, our collaboration is not going to end. Yi Jinyu will not be an obstacle. Oh, why is the hall so messy? In that moment, a woman with a white dress entered through the door. Upon seeing Ye Niansu, Lin Ji's eyes lit up. The appearance of old Yi and of Yi Fu also improved considerably. In that instant, it was as if Ye Niansu were the true heiress of the Yi family. Ye Niansu greeted everyone with sweetness. After finding out what had happened, she sat next to old Yi and said to him in a low voice, Grandpa, my sister has also sacrificed a lot for the Yi group. For that reason, she is not willing to renounce the company. We must try to understand her. Old Yi let out a snort. At his side, Yi Fu intervened, annoyed. Niansu, it's that you are too good. That woman Jinyu is blinded by greed. She deserves no compassion. The old man Yi also intervened. Jinyu is Yesen, the Yesen raised by that person of low class, and radiates that greed so typical of vulgar people. And Jinyu is also like that. Hearing that, Yi Niansu felt how rage invaded him. Since when are the people of the town greedy? With what right do you put that label on the people of the town? The second Mrs. Yi said with a smile from ear to ear, Niansu, yes, is sensible, and knows how to see things in perspective. She knows that a woman cannot inherit the family business. From the beginning, she ceded everything to Xiao Yu. Lin's mother also said, smiling, Exactly, exactly. Besides, Niansu cooks wonderfully. If she marries Xiao Hui, it would be good for both families. We get a good daughter-in-law very dedicated to her home, and you recover the shares that Jinyu took from you, said the old man Yi with a voice loaded with murderous intention, that Jinyu is too arrogant. The Yi family can let her live, and also can make it so that Yi Niansu moved to the side in silence. She had already made a decision. As soon as she got what she wanted, she would distance herself from this ball of crazies. Jinyu and I walked in silence through the estate. To my surprise, we didn't see the car that was parked at the entrance, and what's most crucial is that the butler and the bodyguards of the estate had also disappeared. A garden of 500 mu? At what time are we going to arrive at the parking lot if we go on foot? As if she heard my mental complaints, Jinyu took me by the hand in silence. Little boss, a trash girl touched me? I already got contaminated. Jinyu squeezed my hand with more force. I couldn't let go, but since her hand was so soft, I stopped struggling. While she looked at the bright moon in the sky, Jinyu remembered when in the main hall I defended her by hitting Lin Fu. She remembered the 2 years we spent together saving the night market, the scenes in which we fought shoulder to shoulder. She remembered all these years the incredibly detailed care that I gave her. Seeing Song Yang, she felt a little guilty, Sorry. Her sudden apology put me on alert. When a harpy apologizes, it's because she's plotting something. I have to move with care. Jinyu didn't look very convinced. When we finish fixing the matters of the Yi family, let's go together to your house to take a look, to see your parents. Her voice was fading little by little. This was her attempt to make peace. I knew it. It wasn't a trap? Does this woman want to squeeze every last cent out of my family? I rejected her immediately and with firmness. No. Jinyu frowned. A dangerous glow flashed in her eyes. No, why? Because your origin is questionable. Jinyu stayed stunned. And what does that mean? While I checked the memories of the original owner of this body, I complained to myself. I'm not lying to you. It's that seriously, your origin is not good at all. My grandfather was military. He participated in the war against the British. He went to the northwest of the country to look for oil for the nation. He became one of the first oilmen in history. All my family has fought on the front line for the country. We are people who have truly gotten ahead based on pure effort and suffering. Your Yi family is nothing more than a family of pure merchant thieves and liars. My great-grandfather really didn't swallow them, even to me. It seems that the family of the original owner was super badass. Pity that in the original plot, me being the villain, it was over for me before I could use the influence of my family. Jinyu stayed stunned upon hearing my thoughts. She didn't have even the remotest idea of the situation of my family. Arriving at the parking lot, I saw the Dajiao parked there completely alone. A flash of hesitation crossed Jinyu's gaze. Are you afraid of death? Are you willing to accompany me to the gates of the underworld? Of course not. I looked at Jinyu with a strange expression. Hey, what are you talking about? Why do you suddenly mention death? Jinyu nodded and sat quietly in the driver's seat. Then wait here for Secretary Jin to come pick you up. Don't FCK with me? Hey, are you gonna leave me here alone? Do you perhaps want them to kill me? It can't be. This woman has no shame. I just insulted the old man of the Yi family, his wife, and all his people. Leaving me here is so they FCK with me. Without thinking twice, I sat in the passenger seat. Jinyu was moved. Definitely you cannot judge a person by what they say, but by what they do. Upon seeing my decision to accompany her in the car, she was moved so much she wanted to cry. When the luxury car left the Yi mansion, the guard sent a message to Old Yi in the restaurant. Old Yi dedicated a smile to Yi's father and nodded slightly. Yi's father lowered his head and sent a message. Then laughing he said to Yi Hyun, "Daughter, when you enter the Yi group, you must work very hard. Show everyone your best side. Let them know that the men of the Yi family have talent, only that we don't like to compete with others. That the people of the circle mock us for depending on our wives has been always a pain for the men of the Yi family." Old Yi then looked at Lin Ji and with kindness said to him, "Little Ji, from now on our two families will be one. You have to treat Nyansu well, and above all, you have to support Yi Jun." Yi Nyansu's eyebrow trembled. Grandpa, Dad, did Jinyu not forbid Yi Jun from entering the company? Is it not too soon to talk about this? Old Yi let out a giggle. Hello Jinyu, that brat is no match for me. The only thing she knows how to do is bark a bit, and that's it. On the road that goes from the outskirts to the city, Ye Jinyu felt how the brakes began to fail suddenly. In her mind appeared the scene of her mother's car accident. Song Yang, are you afraid of dying? I looked at Ye Jinyu with suspicion. We were going so calm in the car, how is it that suddenly she comes out with that question? Did the brakes fail? Jinyu confirmed calmly that the brakes had failed. My pupils contracted. Are you joking? Jinyu's brakes failed? Is death not supposed to be something that arrives much later? Why now? Jinyu laughed even harder. So he died because of a brake failure? I swallowed saliva. I'm sorry, if I survive this and I discover who did it, I swear to you that I will tear him to pieces. Song Yang, I'm sorry, if we manage to get out of this, I promise you that I will give you the best version of me. Barely she finished speaking, they hit us from behind. Jinyu grit her teeth and turned the steering wheel sharply. The car crossed the barrier and got into the fields at the edge of the road. Through the rearview mirror, I saw how the truck that followed us got stuck in the mud. A flash of emotion shone in Jinyu's eyes. The car stopped upon hitting a tractor that was parked in the field. The tremendous impact left us stunned and dizzy. Jinyu barely pulled out her cell phone, sent her location to Secretary Jin, and then she fainted. Before fainting, I only had one thought. I haven't even debuted in this life. The sound of sirens broke the silence of the night. Secretary Jin arrived in time with the police and an ambulance, and they took us to the hospital. That same night, the news that the president of the Yi Group and her husband had a car accident and had been hospitalized appeared on Weibo. And to top it off, the accident occurred right after leaving the old residence of the Yi family. Someone with many contacts leaked the file of the car accident of Yesun, Jinyu's mother. This added to the rumors about the Yi family that were already circulating on the internet. The rumor that the men are trash, along with the information from Tianyansha about Jinyu and the distribution of shares of the Yashore group that she controls, made everyone start creating conspiracy theories. While old Yi and his son chatted after dinner, the police appeared suddenly at their door and took them away. The arrest of the father and the son of the Yi family became a trend that same night. Besides, some paparazzi photographed the family of Lin Ji and Yin Yansu leaving the old residence of the Yi family. In an instant, all types of rumors flooded the internet. Jinyu woke up in the hospital bed. The first thing she saw was Secretary Jin, who had not slept all night, and Senlolo. She smiled and said, "Although they are competing with me for a man, they are still my best friends." Upon hearing that, the sadness that Senlolo felt disappeared in an instant. The secretary handed the tablets silently to Jinyu. In the headlines was the image of old Yi and his son being arrested. Jinyu let out an unbridled laugh. "It wasn't in vain that I used myself as bait." Secretary Jin, with a serious face, said, "Just as you asked, the report of the car inspection has already been sent to the police. The driver of the truck has also been detained. We discovered that he was paid. He has parents and a son to support at home." Everything is as cliché as a soap opera, thought Jinyu to herself. With a cold smile, she said slowly, "Money is what I have plenty of. Take money to the driver's family. A desperate guy like him surely has a record. Now our goal is to make my grandfather and my father end up in the slammer and for them to leave me a clean Yi family." Since she received the news of returning to the old Yi residence for dinner last night, Jinyu was already making her arrangements. It was certain that she would use herself as bait. It was a definitive decision. Only with a charge of attempted murder could she finish them. The result was perfect. They fell into her trap. Secretary Jin, infiltrate the paternity test between Ye Niansu and my dad. Besides, investigate the relationship between my grandfather and the second Mrs. Yi, and also my grandfather and his relationship with that young wife that Yi Jun brought. Secretary Jin's pupils contracted. "That scandalous is the matter?" Senlolo also looked at her surprised. "Jinyu, the grandfather Yi, is already very big. It's not possible that he's in a mess of old man with young wife, is it?" Jinyu rolled her eyes. "If you could like my husband, why can he not like someone young and pretty, and by the way, have a child, so that he inherits Jizi Wayne?" Senlolo shut up immediately. Jinyu continued, "If everything goes as planned, buy more press notes that say that the Lin Group also participated in this murder. The pretext will be that Lin Jie's family was also in the old Yi residence, and also invent a story of how Lin Jie and Ye Niansu were head over heels in love. But the elders opposed their love, so that for Ye Niansu to become the main lady of the Yi family, Lin Jie didn't hesitate to incriminate his former fiancé Jinyu. After that, publish also that it was I who called the police and put out the notes about how I put justice above my family, and that I don't cover for any criminal. It's my duty as a citizen." Secretary Jin nodded immediately. She returned to the Yi group to put everything in motion. Lin Ji saw on the internet the news about his participation in the murder of the car accident, and out of rage, he vomited blood. The shares of the Lin group began to plummet. The shareholders called him one after another to ask for explanations. They asked Lin Jia if he had gone crazy. On the contrary, Yi shares, thanks to the image of Ye Jinyu, who put justice above the family, and her image of a matriarch who called the police immediately, went up like foam, skyrocketing without control. With the cannon shots of money from Secretary Jin, the driver of the truck and the people of the old Yi residence confessed one after another. Yi Fu and old Yi ended up in jail. The chain of evidence was complete. The murder charge is confirmed. Jinyu demands that the case of her mother's car accident be reopened. Upon finding out the news, the old Yi and Yi Fu went crazy, demanding to see Jinyu. "I can spare your lives, but the condition is that all the properties in the name of you two must be mine. Interest comes first." Old Yi and Ye Fu, before the glacial attitude of Jinyu, in the end had no choice but to cede. Jinyu nodded with satisfaction. wrote a letter of pardon, and withdrew the request to reopen the case of her mother's accident. Upon seeing this, old Yi and Yi Fu laughed. A woman will always be a woman. She is not ruthless enough. However, they didn't know that the family of the truck driver, his wife and children, had already been put in safety. 10 days later, Jinyu and I left the hospital together. "Let's go. We will attend a funeral." Jinyu took me by the arm. She was smiling, but I had a somber expression. After having been on the edge of death, I couldn't blame Jinyu. What a drag. Whose funeral? Jinyu outlined a light smile. My father's and my grandfather's. Since they didn't reach a good agreement with the truck driver about the final payment, they were eliminated. I kept silence. Seriously, it wasn't you who moved the strings? At the funeral, Jinyu cried her eyes out. Ye Niansu was also invited. She had a lost look. She was to one side with the expression of someone completely destroyed. At her side was Luo Aodian and Sister Lin. I observed Luo Aodian. "Hello? This is the Dragon King? He is much handsomer than on television." Hearing this, Jinyu looked up to look at Luo Aodian. "So he is the Dragon King? He doesn't look so strong as to be able to kill my people." When the guests saw Jinyu, everyone outlined a smile. Their looks toward Yi Niansu and Sister Lin were full of mockery. They already knew it. Old Yi and his father left all the money to Yi King. Yi Niansu didn't receive even a cent. For that reason, many said that Jinyu was quite cruel and was crazy. Yi Niansu's methods were not firm enough. Toward the end of the funeral, Yi Hernan wanted for Yi Jin and his son to reclaim a part of the Yi inheritance. Jinyu asked the grandmother of the second family in front of everyone, "Excuse me, Yi Jin and my grandfather, what relationship do they have with my father? First, they are not in the same family registry. Second, we are not direct relatives. And third, there is no will. With what right do they want to divide the inheritance? Could it be because of their nerve?" Someone advised Jinyu not to be so extreme. Don't cross the line. Jinyu broke into tears with a groan, and between sobs she said, "I am only a girl who just lost her grandfather and her father, and already there are a ton of people wanting to fight for the inheritance. To top it off, an illegitimate daughter who is barely 2 months younger than me, and even a possible uncle that my grandfather could have left me out there. Is it that perhaps you want to edge me to death? Do you all know how much Jiezi Group pays in salaries per month?" Jinyu cried in such a pitiful way that even the holier-than-thou people who advised her felt ashamed. In the car back to the mansion after the funeral, I was in the driver's seat without saying a word. Jinyu observed my expression through the mirror. She didn't know if I liked her gift or not. But it didn't matter. She had a second gift, and she would give it to me this very night. First, to compensate me for having cared for her all these years, and second, because now she really wanted to be with me. During the time she was hospitalized, she had investigated me again thoroughly. Family of good birth. It was impossible to find the names of some of his older relatives. They found them on the emergency contact list of the boys' school. And handsome. He still figures on the list of the handsomest boys in his school and of kind character. Although I wanted to divorce her, I never did anything to cross the line. He has incredible skills. He directs a chip processor factory valued at more than $1 billion, and besides, he has the capacity to research and develop his own technology. His reputation is perfect. His close friends, his confidants, whether they were crazy rich heiresses or sweet and demure girls, or even mature and beautiful women, practically all tried to seduce me, and I rejected them all one by one. When she found out about this through the investigation, Jinyu almost exploded with rage to think that all those people were the ones who joined him to complain about me when he criticized me. Now Jinyu finally understood. They were all fair-weather friends. I was the only one who truly appreciated him. The more Jinyu thought about it, the more she felt she had to give me the second gift as soon as possible. If this gift also didn't manage to take away the idea of the divorce, then she would have no choice but to use the series of master moves that Senmu had taught her. For example, she and Secretary Jin joining to offer me a beautiful CEO, the cute secretary, and Senlolo as a pair of inseparable best friends, or even involve Senmu herself. Jinyu didn't believe that I could resist all that. Just thinking about it, she turned red. I couldn't help but complain in my mind. How crazy. How can she blush just like that? Sitting without doing anything. Jinyu got a bit annoyed. Do you perhaps not know why I am blushing? Of course you don't know. But tonight you are going to know. My thoughts returned to reality, and I began to give priority to my own matters. It's obvious that Jinyu is becoming corrupt ahead of time. The battle against the Dragon King Luo Aodian surely also will be moved forward. Then I have to hurry up this divorce. Hearing that, Jinyu grit her teeth. So much fear you have of that such Dragon King? Suddenly my eyes lit up. I already know what to do. With so many beautiful women on my cell phone, as long as I act like a womanizer, surely Jinyu will ask me for the divorce. After all, no woman would like it if her husband goes around like a lady killer, right? Hey, you underestimate me too much. Jinyu laughed with disdain to herself. Oh man, how naive you are. You have not even the least idea of what someone is capable of doing when they are blind with love. Jinyu decided that as soon as they returned, she would give him his due. I drove very happily, while in my mind I planned my wonderful future. Hee. As soon as Jinyu and I divorce, I'll pretend I sell the business, and then I'll manage everything from the shadows. Then I'll find the daughter of the expert Jin Chenglin. By then, surely I'll earn a fortune in the chip industry. Jinyu, upon hearing this, stayed full of doubts. Earn a fortune with the chips? According to what she knew, the chip industry in the country had never done very well. After all, its technology was light years away from the foreign one. However, she engraved those words in her mind. I remember that when the expert Lin came to Fengai, he stayed at the home of the Luos. Then the problem now is the Luo family. When the moment comes, surely Luo Aodian will try to stop me. But how could he stop me? Just thinking of Luo Aodian, my head begins to hurt. Who was going to imagine it, that Luo Aodian, the true young master who was swapped at birth by the nanny, would be found in the countryside and with a group of masters who hid their power, and that on top of that, he would learn all types of Taoist mystical arts, besides skills like medicine and appraisal of treasures. And to top it off, that token from the Temple of the Dragon King is ridiculously incredible. But the most incredible of all is the corruption of this Miss Jinyu. Although it was only halfway through the story, she was the one who almost broke Luo Aodian. I couldn't help but throw another look at Jinyu at my side. The truth is that yes, she is very seductive. Jinyu noted mentally the information about Luo Aodian. All this would be fundamental to face him in the future. But what most cheered her was my comment. The only person who almost broke Luo Aodian. If it was only by a little, then that means that there is still a possibility. I was still thinking, let's see if after divorcing Jinyu, I can have an opportunity with someone like Luo Aodian. The mission for now is to find first the lost daughter of the specialist Lin. The problem is that I don't know what distinctive features his daughter has. In the original plot, it only said that the specialist Lin found her by chance one day when he was eating at a street stall. While she listened to me wander, Jinyu outlined a smile. I felt that the environment got a bit uncomfortable. I remembered the customs of the original owner of this body, and I spoke. I told her, Jinyu, the speed with which the AI clan resolves the cases is quite fast. Jinyu let out a giggle. Hello, do you think it was because of them? It's because I have given much for the Jia clan in these 2 years. While she said that, Jinyu threw me a deep look. She decided to give me a bit of confidence. I cannot assure it in other places, but here in my territory, I, Jinyu, still can be the queen of the underworld. Upon seeing her so arrogant attitude, I shouted inside, no way! Nobody said that Jinyu was from the mafia. Jinyu's face darkened immediately. Let's see, who said that this queen walks in bad steps? I only water the plants on time, I organize companies so that they help those most in need, I rescue some boys who have strayed from the good path, and I've only given a few tools to some big shots. That's all. Upon returning to the villa of the Court of the Holy Spirit, first I let Jinyu get out, but when I parked the car and entered the villa, I saw Jinyu sitting on the sofa with an air of a disconsolate widow. The corner of my lip trembled. What? What are you doing, woman? You know that you are playing with fire. Jinyu's face showed the lamentable expression of a widow, but inside she was dying of laughter. Haha! It wasn't in vain to have listened to the Holy Mother during her hospitalization and to have watched dozens of movies of widows. Definitely the lethal attraction of a widow is enormous. Very well, this is the second gift that she gave me. A game for the dead. Wiping the silent tear, Jinyu said with a weak voice, my sister is no longer here, my grandfather neither, and my father also left, and to top it off, the people of the second family are fighting for the inheritance. What am I supposed to do? I feel how my hormones skyrocket under the warm light. The young wife who had just taken care of the funeral of her father and her grandfather wore a black dress of gauze. With eyes about to shed tears, she looked at me with a pitiful expression while she called me brother-in-law. I am about to lose control. Jinyu smiled slightly and approached me. She tripped as if by accident and fell on me. She raised her head and with a pitiful look said, "Brother-in-law, can you help me? I'm willing to do whatever."